Hello, hola, and bonjour. I'd like to introduce you to my lovely wife, Leah, our baby girl, Eden Ray, and yours truly, Ray Fuentes, host of the show, where I'll be sharing our journey as a family, conversations with entrepreneurs, tips for healthy living, and tools, products, services to help you navigate through this digital age. Thanks for tuning in, and welcome to Salt Creek. Two questions for DI and Digital Perspectives. Gentlemen, I noticed that your brand names are protected on unstoppable domains, which means you more than likely took the necessary legal ramifications to copyright and protect your brand names, and then extending to your domain names in the ICANN organization. Have you gentlemen personally used the .crypto functionality with unstoppable domains as the secondary layer above the wallets for convenience purposes? And second, understanding that El Salvador is adopting Bitcoin, but then you read articles about how Algorand is also being utilized for the infrastructure. Do you think the federated side chains, which David Schwartz has referenced, are also in cahoots or playing an active role in the adoption of Bitcoin in El Salvador?
Yeah, go ahead.
On the sorry, unstoppable domains. I bought a few of those, like I think 6 of them, and then they had reserved out digitalassetinvestor.crypto. When I first spoke to those guys, they already had that held out. Have you ever seen the movie The Jerk?
No.
Okay, well, in The Jerk, what's his face? Steve Martin. He's looking in the phone book and he sees his name in the phone book, and he says, "I am somebody."
The new phone book's here! The new phone book's here!
Well, I wish I could get that excited about
Nothing! Are you kidding? Page 73! Johnson! Maven! R! I'm somebody now! Things are going to start happening to me now.
And so when I found out they had reserved my name, I guess that meant I was somebody. They thought to reserve my name, but I have not used that. Now, as far as the El Salvador thing, my answer to that is I have no idea. All I've seen about El Salvador is that they're making Bitcoin a legal tender, and there's been a lot of controversy around that. I think half of what Bitcoin is just it's like one marketing program after the other, because it'll be a store of value, but it's not anything beyond that, and it's never gonna be, as far as I can tell. Everything else to me is just someone funding, whether one day it'll be a Michael Saylor that's tweeting out this or that about it, and then it'll be something else, but it's all marketing. This thing does not do anything except act as a store of value, and they all know this.
So you think that, like David Pena mentions, that it could go to zero in a blip, effing blip? Is that possible then?
Look, who knows okay, well, I'll ask you this. What would happen if today somebody stepped forward and they proved that they were Satoshi Nakamoto, or a government stepped forward, or a group of terrorists stepped forward and said, "I'm Satoshi Nakamoto"? All of a sudden, everything that they talk about Bitcoin goes out the window. And yeah, there's your scenario. Why couldn't that happen? It could.
Joseph, are you Satoshi Nakamoto?
Shoot, man.
I wish.
But I mean, that could happen. There's a scenario where that happens. What if somebody's sitting back and just waiting and has, what if there was a plan to do that? Nobody knows. That's what's crazy about Bitcoin to me, is all these institutions and all these people that are building they're building institutional hedge funds around this, unless they know who actually did it. That would make sense to me. But somebody, or some group of people, or some government or group of governments, or terrorists, or whoever, put this thing out into the world, and they just happen to do it right in the middle of the financial crisis. I mean, I don't believe there are coincidences, you know.
I'm really confused. Is Craig Wright not Satoshi?
He was until last week.
Does the SEC have a lawsuit against Bitcoin if somebody comes out and says, I created this, and they can prove it all of a sudden? But
yeah,
anyway.
and to your point, Raymond, the unstoppable domains, it's pretty much the same thing for me as it is for DAI. They reserved that for me. I haven't used it in full scale as of yet. You know, I'm still waiting for like some of the infrastructure to come about for that to be very user friendly in the future. And I look forward to that. I am excited about being able to exchange value through simple addresses like that, which I think is exciting. And we will move more towards it. The El Salvador, the Algo, side chains, federated stuff. I'm not a huge technical guy, but I would imagine that the interoperability is there to some degree for all of that to interwork. But, you know, that would be a question better suited for somebody like David Schwartz, right? But I do want to turn this back a little bit towards Jeremy and John just for a second, because when we talk about the idea of a resolution in this case or a summary judgment, and the idea of it, it's either a security or it's not a security. I think sometimes we get lost on the idea that we may think that because it gets a security designation, that it just means, oh, then now it's a stock, it's a share of Ripple, right? Well, we know that we have private equity shares of Ripple already. I'd like to ask the lawyers here, what do you think about the idea that in settlements, as settlements go, they agree on things that we don't often see at face value? That, and I've put this even forth to John in a private conversation too, where, you know, the idea that we could see XRP get a security designation, but more like an electronic bond, digital bond designation. So if it was cited that it was for fundraising from the SEC's point of view, you have the shares of Ripple, and then you have the potential to deem this thing a digital bond, which wouldn't harm, and from where I sit, and I'm 12 years short of a law degree, but it wouldn't seem to harm the use of the asset because bonds are used in a jurisdictionless way around the world. And in fact, they're money. So I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on something like that.
You know, in a settlement, anything is possible. The court doesn't have to approve it unless New York has some strange rule that does. But down here, they definitely don't have to approve a settlement. All you have to tell the court is we've settled the case. You have your private papers. They're not filed with the court. So anything could be in those papers. My understanding is that Ripple has been or has thought outside of the box on this issue. For example, you know, what happened with the Kick Interactive case, they were forced to issue the KIN token as a security deed issuance. But my understanding is that it's the SEC that is the problem child in the room, and they're the ones that are the hold up to any kind of creative thinking as far as settlement.
Listen, I mean, I think that what you're getting at, Brad, is the escrow, and listen, I think at $3, a $3 XRP, I believe, makes Chris Larson the 5th or the 6th richest man in the world. Just to give you a little perspective. So if you can, that's at $3. You imagine at $10, you know, and you got billions of XRP, you're talking about, you know, being valued. I don't know what 55 billion times $10 is, but it's a lot of money, right? And then if you start talking about getting in higher than 10, then you're talking about being valued at the level of an Apple. And so the problem, of course, with what your scenario, and I think that's, you know, very ingenious, you have to, how do you sell it, right? Now, obviously, a Link2 might be able to sell it to accredited investors, but is an Uphold or a Coinbase, are they going to go out and get a broker dealer license to sell securities? You know, so that's really, I guess, the issue. But it's an interesting,
which is not to cut you off, but which is what Gary Gensler's trying to push all the exchanges into, right?
Right.
Yeah.
The other issue, Brad, is that you're going to have 2 different XRP tokens floating out there, and I don't know if the technology is even there to distinguish between the two. So that might be an impossible scenario to have
So Jeremy, you're suggesting that whatever was prior a certain date to prior the judgment would see these things as different. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, Ripple can settle with the SEC and say that the XRP that they own is whatever they want. They could say it's, baby diapers if they wanted to, but the XRP that we own, the court that settlement has no jurisdiction over it. So essentially what you would have done is then you have two different XRPs floating out there in the world. And I don't know how that would even play out.
So just for a second with that idea and notion, if they were to, just entertaining a bond designation of some sort, you and I maybe hold a bond, but in order for us to cash this bond out, now you and I need to go through someone who's dealer broker licensed that could handle this said bond that you now own. It's been defined. Is that possible?
I guess what I'm saying is there's a problem of jurisdiction going on because me and you haven't been sued. So our XRP is our XRP. It's still XRP. And I don't think the court can change that designation because it doesn't have jurisdiction over us, no matter what Ripple and the SEC agree to. So that wouldn't really be possible from a legal standpoint.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.
Raymond.
And there we go. I hope you found this long-winded conversation as impactful as I did. In summary, we are witnessing an orchestrated push or reset towards a new digital age. I believe the ongoing case between the SEC and Ripple is the very vehicle that's going to drive us there and define the very regulations framed around this emerging asset class. We are watching the greatest paradigm shift of our lifetime, if not the century. Thank you for tuning in to episode number 8 of Welcome to Salt Creek. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and please don't forget to do your own research. Love you mucho. See ya.